I'd like to welcome you all to this meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Board held on Monday, May 1st. And we do have quorum tonight. Seeing no one for public comment, we'll move right along to the approval of the minutes from April 3rd. Did y'all have a chance to look at those? Any? Okay, second. All in favor? Aye. And I apologize for Michelle. She was not able to make it tonight, so I will be giving her presentation, and I actually apologize for my presentation of her presentation because it won't be as good as her presentation would have been. But thankfully I did attend the meeting of the Friends of the Menominee Park Shoreland, so when she sent me the notes, at least I can kind of fake it, I hope. For those of you who may not know, we do have a shoreline preservation area in Menominee Park. I don't know if you've been down to look at it or not, but it's kind of gorgeous. And we are part of a coalition that maintains that space. There are a number of groups that are involved, including the university and Audubon and Wild Ones and the League of Women Voters and, of course, the Sustainability Board and others that I cannot immediately bring to mind, but it's a large coalition. And, and the local neighborhood helps. So the first thing that's going to be happening there is not really there. It's at Birdfest this coming Saturday, and I will be talking a little bit more about that later on in the agenda. But Michelle will be hosting tables at Birdfest, both for shoreland preservation, so that you can learn more about that, and for the Sustainability Board. So she's doing both of those. On Friday, May 12th, the Diggers Hotline is going to be marking the site, and then on the 13th, they'll be doing spraying, which has to be done, unfortunately, before we can do replanting. But what happens is we pull plants out of the existing area and transfer them to other places. And because that's the day that things will be pulled out, there will also be a plant sale at the Oshkosh Farmers Market in the Growing Oshkosh booth on Saturday, May 13th, which means that downtown farmers market starts in May. I like it. And that will run from 8 to 12:30. On Saturday, May 20th, they'll be respraying the Nicolay site if needed, which we hope it's not because it involves nasty things like Roundup and stuff. But again, it has to be done to be able to convert the sites. And then on May 27th is Dig Day. If anyone is available to come help, you're more than welcome. Of course, we have all these partners and people do come from different groups. So it's nice when people like from Wild Ones come because they know which plants should stay there and which ones shouldn't. Kind of they have to tell me which is which because I'm not good with plants. I know grass, I know shrubs, I know trees. I just don't know which one's which, you know? And then on May 28th, we'll be having our first volunteer cleanup day, and that will run from 9 to 12. And again, we are looking for participants for that or for help. And on June 18th, we'll be having another cleanup, especially in the viewing area that is probably the area you're most familiar with right down by Ames Point. And that's because Garden Walk is going to be happening there the following Saturday. And that's really kind of cool that the Oshkosh Garden Club is including us in their Garden Walk this year. It's the first time that's happened. And the preview party will be from 4 to 8. And the Garden Walk then is on Sunday from 12 to 5. So hopefully people can make that. Saturday, July 1st in the morning, there's another general cleanup where we'll be maintaining the trails. And one of the plans this year is to take out an area that's a little broader and allow more space to go down to the water. So that's going to be getting some additional, what do you call those shaving things you put down on the ground? Mulch. Yeah, forgot my word. So there'll be that, and that's happening on July 1st, July 22nd, May 5th, May 19th, September 2nd, and then by September 16th, we may be doing a second dig where we'll be removing some of the plants that get too tall for the area or transplanting them to other places, just help fill in other things. September 30th is another general cleanup and seed collecting, which is really important for future years. And the same thing will happen 2 weeks later on Saturday, October 14th. So as you can see, every couple of weeks there are wonderful opportunities at the Shoreland Preservation Area. Our goal is to keep all the plants there somewhere in the under the 3 foot tall range, preferably more like 2 feet tall, so that it doesn't block any views to the lake, but so it still is acting as that buffer between the bad stuff that we don't want to flow into the lake, all those deep roots and all that. So that is all that she gave me. I'm sure Michelle would have had a lot more to share on that, so I apologize. I was at the meeting, I just didn't take notes because I didn't know I'd need them. So the next thing on our agenda is the PACE Wisconsin Letter of Support. Did y'all have a chance to look at that? Was there anything in there that anyone was not comfortable with coming from our board as it is? I know I sign it, but it's actually from the Sustainability Board.
I was comfortable with the language, but I was curious, how much of a savings is it to go through PACE for that?
Yeah?
I'm not sure. I'd have to get back to you on that. Yeah.
As opposed to,
Also, my understanding, I guess maybe let's just backtrack and make sure I understand this correctly. So is this more for residents or for businesses?
I'm thinking it's more for businesses, isn't it?
I thought it was, if I'm not mistaken. I thought.
Isn't
So-
this the one that mainly what it will help us do is get future grants?
Yeah, it really is geared at grants.
And I can tell you, Jason, I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, we did have a speaker from PACE come in and so that would be on our recording of that meeting, and you could see the presentation there.
So I guess my understanding was it's a mechanism to allow a business to say if they want to put solar panels on the roof, then it's an option to help them finance that. Is that correct?
I believe that's part of it. Yes. Energy, water conservation, helping complete those. Revitalizing aging buildings is what this says. Those are all parts of it.
Yeah, so I guess where I was curious, I went to the link that you had there, so I was checking them out a little bit, and they say they're like long-term loans to help energy efficiency improvements for the corporation. I was just curious offhand, how much of a savings is that to go through PACE compared to if they just wanted to finance it through traditional means?
I can talk to Elizabeth, or I can reach out to someone at PACE, and I can get back to you all on that. Yep.
So one thing
Maybe
I
we can
just-
have an update on that next month.
Yeah.
Other questions so that we get everything?
Yeah, well, just for the water, like in terms of, and I guess I don't know, is Mark in on this? Does he know? Is he?
Mark Harris?
Yeah, does he have
Or
heads
Mark
up on this?
Roloff?
Mark Harris.
He actually, we had a meeting with a few representatives from PACE a few weeks back here at City Hall, and he was there, so he was part of this.
Okay,
Yep.
so he knows where this is, okay.
Yep, yep.
And the gentleman who spoke to us, who was from elsewhere in the state, is part of a coalition with Mark for the county executives or something. And so he was actually the one who took it to Mark, the county executive, as opposed to, Mark, the city manager. We just name everybody Mark in this county. It works really well. So, and I would encourage you, if anyone does have any further questions on this as you're reading through that, please let Stephen know so that,
Yep.
and then we will come back with a better update. At this point, what I'm understanding is that we're just letting Mr. Harris know that we support this so that we can kind of help urge the county to become a part of it. We can't do it as a city municipality, it's at the county level.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we can get the county involved, then we can help, participate we can reap the benefits.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And the other thing, if you all are interested, is if we were interested in going to council and requesting a resolution in support of this, there's another thing that Elizabeth brought up.
That we could do that also,
Yes.
to get some additional support from the city level.
Yep.
Okay. Green tier score sheet. Oh, do we need to vote on this? We do. I would entertain a motion to accept the letter of support as written. I didn't make the motion, I just said I would entertain one.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Oh, please, yes, thank you. Where are you at?
First sentence, Oshkosh Advisory Board seeks to enable property owners, should it be to use property assessed?
Yes. Got it.
I noticed.
So far. Okay, we'll move on then to our green tier score sheet, which also requires some sort of action, but Stephen will bring us up to date on this.
So with this, Elizabeth and I, in planning, we looked at this and we tried to just kind of come to terms with all of these initiatives and determine what the city is actually doing right now, what the community is doing, I should have said. And so the ones that have points next to them are actions that we're already engaged in. The ones that have 0 points or not available, or NA, not applicable, I should have said, those are actions that we are not currently doing. So those might be actions that you as a board may be interested in pursuing as targets for next year, perhaps, to pursue.
Okay, just so I'm clear, are we talking about the zeros or the NAs, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, Lizzie had put NA for some of them, zeros for others. I think some of them, we had to clarify, we have to reach out to other entities and find out if those are initiatives that they are doing, other departments in government. But yes, zeros and NAs.
That's pretty cool that we've got so many numbers over here, though. There's
Yep.
a lot of stuff that we've already done, what we could.
Mhm.
Cool.
So this was self-scored?
Yes,
Okay.
this is self-scored, yep. Kind of establishes a baseline for green tier, now that we're a member of it. Establishes a baseline from which we kind of know what we're doing, then we can target areas to improve in or areas to kind of pursue. Yep.
It might help just to go back at some point and clarify whether is the 0 a failure or is the 0 just and we're not doing it, and distinguishing between that, because
Sure.
you know, like one of the very first things that I was looking at, the third one, like commuter bike routes identified and cleared, 0. So I guess maybe I just need more definite or more clarity
Sure.
about what that actually means, but I would find it odd if we don't know where our bike routes
No, I
are.
think, yeah. I think for most of these, most of the zeros, I can go through with Elizabeth, but I can also, I can get back to all of you, but I believe for a lot of these, we're just not doing it at this time.
Okay.
Is there a larger document that kind of defines each of those?
Trying to think if there is. There's some other materials that may have more detail on these. If I can find them, I'll get them to you.
Do they give you like a rubric for one of these that's like on a 10-point? I see like for like the 4th one down, League of American Bicyclists certification, bronze 5, silver 7, platinum 10, right? But there's some other ones that are just like 5. Do they give you like a rubric about what's the difference between a 3 and a 4?
That actually, I do not know of. I do not remember receiving a rubric. I do not know of one that would exist. I know this was given, and then there were a few other materials, but no rubric that I can remember.
Okay.
I can double check with the DNR contact for it.
So by becoming a part of this, is it always self-scored, or does somebody else look at this?
They'll look at it, but I believe it is self-scored, and then
So it's more of a guideline for
yes,
us to
it's
give
more
us-
of a guideline. Yep. But they do expect us to report on our progress every year, just to kind of compare where we started, what we're doing like a year from now, 2 years, vice versa, or so on and so forth, I should have said. But it is
So how
self-scored.
come these are 216 scores, 2016? If you
Um,
just did them?
That was 2016, 2015, 2016, we're well aware of. 2017 obviously is still in progress, so I think we just kind of went off of reports and documents, initiatives that we already had in place. And then we figured that we're still early in the year, or kind of midway through the year, getting there. So we just put 2016, we can change that, but figured now that we're a member, here's our goals for the end of this year, perhaps. We can always change that though, if that's what you would like.
I guess this does make sense to leave it at 2016. It's kind of like when we set our energy standards, and it was for 2007, and we're still, because we knew what happened that year. I mean, we couldn't get info for 2017 for that yet, probably not even for 2015,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I see that says goals anyway for 2017. So we'd have to set something for our goals.
Yeah, so I saw on the last page that we achieved like 43%. Is
Mhm.
that something that they determine a level that you should try to hit, or is it just year over year improvement, or?
We want to be
whatever we
100
want.
percenters all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it's, and I'll double check with Will at the DNR, but I believe that what it is we would, like you as board members, we as a city determine what we would think, together, what we would think we want to pursue, kind of what's a reasonable goal, what initiatives on here might be more short-term, what might be longer-term. Some of these would be more long-term initiatives, may take like 5 years. So it's really kind of, I think, you as a community gauge it. It's not really they come out and say, you need to be doing this, this, and this, these specific initiatives. It's kind of just more of a set of guidelines. So if you see anything that strikes you on the list that you might think, or you might be more aware of than perhaps some of us are,
Or that you'd really, really like to work on.
yeah.
Because I see this as a wonderful opportunity for us to redo our annual goals, which we've pretty much already completed what we had set
Sure.
for this year. And we could maybe take the next meeting and do our workshop on, between this and reviewing our sustainability plan. That could keep us busy for several months, and it could be a lot of fun. So what action is required on this? Just,
Basically, we were just looking for, do you as board members want to help with taking this up as something to, like, we can all get involved with it and think about actions we want to pursue? Do you want to recommend certain actions to pursue in particular as goals for this year coming up?
is there anything on here that anybody really wants to work on in this next month? Otherwise, we can put it on next month's agenda to go into great detail with this, but it is on this month's agenda, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I can't say I remember exactly all the line items on there. I could review.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely interesting stuff on here that are worth spending some time on. It's one of those things I probably just need to digest it.
A lot of
A bit more to
opportunity,
narrow
I
it
think,
down.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of NAs here, so might be developing a priority list about what's maybe the biggest-
Exactly, and a
or
lot of
where's
this
the
is-
low-hanging fruit? Is there a low-hanging fruit here that we can?
Well, and a lot of this is also going to tie directly into the sustainability plan as we take a look through that, which I know y'all did because it's on our workshop. So maybe when we merge those two, we'll come up with a really killer plan for the rest of the year. Any other questions on this, or just set it aside and add it to next month?
I say next month.
Okay, let's do it. Stephen, urban beekeeping ordinance. Oh, that says brochure on it.
Yes.
When'd you add that word? I don't remember that word being on there.
So basically with that, we were just wondering as staff if you as board members, if we'd be interested in creating a brochure on the beekeeping ordinance, if that's a project that you all would like to take up. And so that's basically why we have that on this agenda. Is there interest in taking that up as a project?
I definitely would.
Okay.
Anybody would like to work with me on that, you're more than welcome to.
I think with like Photoshop, we would be making with Photoshop? Because I guess when you say brochure, what do you mean by brochure?
In the
I
past,
guess
we've actually
is it something
developed.
like this?
No,
with
actually, that
these?
was, no,
Oh, okay.
that was done for another, that was done
Yeah.
for Birdfest.
Yeah, but no, is it
but-
like that except for bees or?
Yeah, like
No,
a
it's
plate.
more of a threefold, trifold brochure
Okay.
that we do, and then they sit outside the planning offices. Several that we've done in the past are down there, and there's some others that are in the works that basically it's just a way to communicate with the public some of these different things. And by putting them right there, when people come in for a beekeeping license or whatever, they can see that, and it gives them some of the, it basically takes the resolution and spells it out in people talk instead of legalese, if that makes sense.
Basically, yeah, just an 8.5 by 11, kind of like some of your other brochures on water or sustainable events or whatever. It'd be pretty easy to put it together in InDesign or Photoshop.
We now have new rules from the city since the last time we've done some brochures. They have rules about particular font you can use and a lot of things like that. So it's mostly just gathering the information and laying it out in a way that is going to make it work. So if anybody else is interested in that, please let me know. I'm putting me down by that one. I put us all down by green tier Scoresheet, just so you know. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is I just wanted to talk about Birdfest because it's coming up this Saturday. And we did, once again this year, get our high flyer status. I think that Elizabeth had told us a month ago how she had completed this application, and that was great. We love being high flyers. That's the highest standard we can get. And this is through the state of Wisconsin. So we're now one of 101 communities, but we were like number 12 or something when we first became a bird city. So that's pretty special. And we've been working, I'm also on the Birdfest committee, so when I say we, I don't really mean sustainability as much as myself, I guess, but we as the Birdfest committee have been working really hard on stuff. We're really hoping for sunshine on Saturday, please. It starts in Menominee Park at 6 a.m. with the big sit, and that's a 17-foot circle that people sit in. The birds don't have to be in it, but the people do. And there's binoculars, there'll be spotting scopes there. And I think our record in previous years has been 70 different types of birds that have been spotted. So in that 6-hour period from 6 to noon, there's a big easel and they write down how many different kinds of birds they see. Anita Carpenter, who is like a bird spotter extraordinaire and knows every bird in the world, and also writes the quiz for the Birdfest Facebook, if you've been following that at all, is there to kind of help people identify birds if they aren't sure what they are. From 7 to 10:30, Dick Nicolai will be there with a bird banding demonstration. And thanks to Stewart's Landscaping, this year we have a whole new section kind of behind the newest, for those of you who are familiar with the park, the newest area with the bathrooms. It's kind of smack in the middle of the section across from where the train is. And there's new plantings that have been put in there that it's going to be perfect for bird banding, because one of the problems in the past has been setting up the nets and then having the birds, either the nets be in people's way or the birds not finding the nets. And obviously, if you're going to band a bird, you have to catch it first. So bird walks will be ongoing from 8 o'clock on, and this is just different people from Audubon members, I think. No, Audubon? Yeah, that's right. Members will take people around in groups and just look to see what they can find. It's kind of a big sit that's on the move, only it's not as structured. From 8 to 2, we're going to have a whole bunch of exhibits. This year we have the DNR. That's where Michelle will be setting up shoreline preservation, and the our booth, sustainability. And I'm trying to think of all the Wild Ones has a sale going on there with plants. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And then there's a group that runs the concessions, not-for-profit group that provides food for us during the day. So, and then there will be several presentations, birds of prey, live birds of prey. She actually brings raptors from the Aves Wildlife Sanctuary, where they have birds that have been injured and can't be re-released into the wild after they're rehabilitated. So she brings those, and it's really kind of fun. The kids really like that because they get to see the birds and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in the zoo, children's activities, and this year we've created some crossover things where hopefully people will want to come from the zoo to Birdfest, and there is a bird walk, which is what made me say that, in between. And We've partnered with a group that will let you build a wren house, if you'd like a wren house for your very own yard, one per family, please. And that's a free will offering, but we suggest $5. And then in the evening, we've been participating for several years with, at the Masonic Center, we have kind of our Birdfest evening headquarters during Gallery Walk. But this year, in addition to that, we also will be at the public library under the dome. And this is a group of photographers that have some really awesome, mostly bird pictures, but any kind of wildlife pictures are going to be available there. And then several of businesses, like Classy Kids has an owl, I think, that's coming in. You know, there'll be birds in different places too. And we're going to have Kiana from the zoo at the Masonic Temple. She's the macaw that's kind of pretty. So anyway, I'd like to invite y'all to come, and everybody else in the community. I hope everybody makes it. Wow, that went well. Agenda items for future meeting. Why, yes, we do have one. We thought we'd work on that green tier score sheet, right? Is there anything else that you would especially like to see on the agenda for June?
I can give an update on the Sustainable Oshkosh website.
Oh, yes, next month?
Yep.
That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's good news. Okay. Others? Okay, we're all awake here, right? Okay, then, our next meeting will be on Monday, June 5th, right here. Yes,
I was gonna
Jason.
say, Steve, for that meeting, if they have any more details for that score sheet about what
score
those
sheet?
line items mean, if there's anything you can give us in advance
Sure.
to fill it in, please do.
Yep, will do. And then for the pace, I'll try to get you any further information on that too. I know you had the question about the cost and if there's a savings and what that would be.
Yeah, and that's probably not a big question, I was just curious.
Sure.
We can put that down on next month for his update, though, just so that we all get to learn
Okay.
that. Okay, anything else? No? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn to work session.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.